Welcome to the Luke and Pete Show. I am Pete Donaldson, and I'm joined by Mr. Lukey Moore. Lukey Moore, how the devil are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm okay, thanks. No real complaints this end. It's another Monday in the kingdom. We're well into November now. My goodness me.
We are indeed, yeah. We are hurtling towards Christmas. And have you seen that the new Coca-Cola advert, the advert that some people sort of wait for, in the same way that people wait for the John Lewis advert, just to feel that
holidays are coming, holidays are coming.
It's only Coca-Cola, don't worry. They don't worry about it.
It's the season.
It's just a big truck, wouldn't fit down many small alleyways.
Yeah, you couldn't have that. You wouldn't have that truck in London delivering Coca-Cola.
If you live in a city, you're fuck out of luck.
Yeah.
You're not getting Coca-Cola. Not a Christmassy drink. Not a Christmassy drink necessarily. Maybe
the only one
I've
seen so far is, although Coca-Cola, of course, invented the everyone knows this, but they invented
Santa.
the modern iteration of Father Christmas, didn't they?
Right. Yeah, I believe so.
The only one I've seen is one featuring. Is it a Waitrose one featuring the BFG?
Oh no, I've not seen that. Oh, okay, right. Is that another license? Roald Dahl doing his business.
Voiced by Mark Rylance, I believe.
Okay, I saw that on. I do like a bit of Rylance. He's good. I think I contentiously brought up the Coca-Cola advert because Luke, it's AI generated again this year.
Oh, come on!
Which is a bit of a shame, if I'm honest. But it's a bit crap. But that's
why would they do that?
At. I don't know. Well, they did it last year. They thought it was successful, and they're doing it again for some reason.
But was it successful last year, or did people hate it?
Normal people hate it. I think they just they thought, because Coca-Cola, they are skint. They can't afford to film their own advert, can they? They can't do it. I think they probably think, you know what? This is where we're probably going to end up, but it's going to take it's going to take a market-leading company to use AI to move the industry along. And allow them to make more money and spend less money on and making an advert.
No one wants it, man. That's the thing. The only people that want it, it's like 6 or 7 people in the world at the very top of tech companies.
Yeah.
And they're weird virgin acolytes. The only people that want AI in their lives.
Have you seen the recent Joe Rogan love-in on AI music?
Oh God.
Every time he has someone on the show, bar none. Apparently he's done this every fucking episode for the last few weeks. He's brought him on, and he's obsessed with a lounge version of a couple of 50 Cent songs, right? So an AI has gone through and got
but people
a
were
jazzy...
doing that 20 years ago on the internet.
They were doing it 20 years on the internet, but now they can get computers to do it, so it's even more soulless and forgettable and disposable than it was back then. So it's literally someone going I don't know, you find me in the club, singing like a proper singer, and he is absolutely astounded. He is blown away. It is his favourite artist, and he goes on record saying that. Have you heard this? If this was a real guy, he would be the most talented. He would be the most successful. He would be the most popular producer of music in the world. And everyone else is going, oh, you really can tell a lot about people about their fucking, what they're into. And this guy has no soul, and so he likes soulless things. But it's just really funny that
I would extend that to the kind of that particular area of the right wing generally. They have absolutely no grasp on culture or taste or anything like that. Yeah. It's something that's not at all of interest to them, so they can't.
Because they grew up without it.
Nobody
invited them into it because they were fucking lonely little nerds. That's why. Little incel boys.
And also, there's a bit of neophobia, isn't there, with a lot of conservative people. They don't like new things. They don't like. They don't like. They can't. They find it harder to embrace kind of. Ironically, with the exception of tech, they. But even back in the day when the right and the left was far more defined, the right would be much more phobic of tech than they are now. This kind of weird tech adjacent right wing stuff is perhaps a little bit of an upset to that. But I really love that Joe Rogan meme that was doing the rounds. It started doing the rounds a few years ago, but it's become even more pertinent now when obviously he's become more and more popular. But it's this comedian who posted this kind of conversation between Joe Rogan and his guest. I'll read it to you. Joe Rogan: hamburgers are good, but I'm trying to eat less pork. Guest: Hamburgers are made with beef. Joe Rogan. Ham is from pork. It says ham in hamburger. Yes, it is beef. Joe Rogan. That's not what I've heard, Jamie. Look that up. Jamie, it's beef. Guessed, it's beef. Joe. Okay, but can we really trust hamburger makers and their butchers and grocery stores when the word ham is in hamburger and ham means pork? Joe Rogan fans. This is why I like Joe Rogan. He's good at thinking.
Was that a real exchange?
No.
I don't know. No, but yeah.
It's not real.
No, right. Okay, fine.
It's
but
what I
that's
would,
kind of his
Pete,
vibe,
it's what
isn't it?
I've started to term, and
Satire?
I coined this phrase. It's very satirical.
It's very satirical, isn't it? Yeah. I watched Have I Got News to You? Have I Got News to You? Have I Got News for You?
It's a new show.
It's a new show.
Have I Got News to You? It's about newspapermen and their boys who deliver the newspaper.
Have I got news to you? Is this news to you? And oh my goodness, it was thin. Like they've got like writers. They've got writers and sitting there writing gags for the hosts and the presenters and the talent and the comedians that come on. And I believe your fee gets cut by 50 quid every time you use a joke that's out of the joke.
Oh, is that how it
room.
works? I didn't know
so.
that.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Huh.
And it certainly is with a few other shows. So maybe Mock the Week is the Dear Departed Mock the Week. It might still be on, I don't know. But anyway, and you look at that, and the way that they were sort of doing their gags was like proper, like, fuck. Like, there was no gags there. It was like the internet has killed the Have I Got News for You, because there's nothing interesting about it. We spoke about it last week about Jamie Oliver and Greta Thunberg and Prince Andrew. Every joke was like, that was the punchline. That sort of level. And it was like, Jesus Christ, like, it was really thin stuff, man. And I'd just not watched it for a very long time. Maybe it was always like that. And maybe like the internet is just, there's just so much more stuff out there that's a bit more spicy.
I think it's a combination of those things.
Mm.
I remember really, I used to love Have I Got News for You? And I think really, looking back on it now, and I haven't thought about it for a while, but off the top of my head, it might be that the things that were most attractive about it were you got a guest host who would say stuff they probably wouldn't normally say. So it was quite exciting to have like serving Cabinet Minister Boris Johnson saying some shit or some straight newsreader like Clive Murray saying some jokes.
Yeah.
But it was Ian Hislop calling out everyone in a way that no one else would dare to, and Paul Merton being quite weirdly surreal with his observations. And then sometimes they'd have a guest on who they always should rip the piss out of, who was well out of their depth, right? That was basically what it was, right?
And now everyone does that all of the time.
Yeah,
every cabinet minister's doing TikTok stuff. Every newsreader, etc.
Well, that's what Chris Morris says, and I know I always cite this, but it really is worth watching if you've not got around to it. There's a Chris Morris interview on Channel 4 where he's been interviewed about a movie he made maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and Jon Snow's asking him about satire and how satire's dead because you can't find room for satire anymore. And he was like, no, satire's not dead. He said that people don't know how to do it anymore because they're either not brave enough or because everyone in power has become super self-aware that you need to find other ways of doing it. And he said what's happened now is that people think it's satirical to make a joke about a powerful person who can then acknowledge the joke and laugh about it. Yeah. And that's not what satire is. And if you look at what Chris Morris was doing 30 years ago, it's still really compelling. It's really powerful. It's really fucking out there. And, no one else has got perhaps the bravery to do it anymore, or maybe that stuff just isn't commissioned these days or whatever. But I also do think there's a homogenization of comedy that comes from the US now, I think. I think we're far too keen to just kind of ape what the US are doing.
Well, I mean, what's happened to SNL for SNL UK? That's something that was supposed to be coming down the pipe, and by pipe I mean sewage pipe. just the same old faces doing some fucking tepid jokes about British celebrities. Oh God!
You see it on podcasts like Pod Save the UK, right? It's Nish Kumar just saying pretty tepid observational stuff about how fucked the world is, right? Respectfully, anyone could do that. There's no real room, it feels like, or no bravery to make properly satirical stuff. And the other thing about it is, if you're going back to the US on it, in the US, like, nothing sticks. No one cares. Yeah. So if you try and stick something on Trump, he just doesn't fucking care. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
he pardoned some really problematic guy yesterday, like really problematic guy, or it was talked about yesterday.
Not
and
the
he's
not the
interviewed about it.
not the what do you call it? The money guy, the
Binance guy.
The crypto guy, the Binance guy, yeah. The guy who literally was laundering money for ISIS. It's just like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yesterday, Trump was asked by one of the few people who's got access to him still now. I think it was a 60 Minutes interview. I think it was Nora O'Donnell. Bear in mind that Trump barely does hardly any at all interviews with anything other than like lick spit or fucking media.
The My Pillow guy's now got a news agency, I noticed, which is fun.
Yeah, exactly, right. He was asked why he pardoned this guy. What's his name? Is it Changpeng Zhao? I think his name is. And he said, I have no idea who he is. I don't recall meeting him. And are you ready to start the interview, kind of thing? So he just completely flat batted it.
Yeah.
Well, it's impossible to stick anything on him.
Well, he was asked about that by, I think, ABC about 2 weeks ago, and he basically went, I've no idea. I've been told by very good people. His usual kind of, I've been told by very good people that he was innocent. And it's like, what does that even fucking mean, Donald? What does that even... You've forgotten to even do this properly. I've been told by very good people that he's actually innocent. It's like, that's not a legal classification that anyone would understand. And he said, and then he starts getting really, he gets angry because he's usually dealing with the fucking My Pillow guys and, Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband and stuff, like partner or whatever, lover. And he's usually dealing with these sycophant and maniacs, the bloke from Mumford and Sons, etc. And then he gets really fucking nasty. He goes like, I've never heard of it. I don't know anything about it, but I've been told that he was a really good man, and he didn't. The things they did weren't even a crime. And he really fucking gets really nasty. Like he really loses his cool a little bit. He sort of goes, "But you don't know anything. You're fake news. Fuck, you don't know anything about Bitcoin." It's just like, oh my god, yeah. He really let the old mask slip very, very briefly. But
he basically said that Zhao was only prosecuted by the Biden administration as part of their war on cryptocurrency and a desire to punish the cryptocurrency industry. Bearing in mind, Zhao himself pled guilty to laundering, for essentially enabling money laundering to the tune of $50 million with Binance, and served 4 months in prison.
It's just astonishing.
It's not even like... I don't understand why you would even... Because obviously people get really confused about what presidential pardons are, right? You can only pardon certain types of crime. As far as I know, it doesn't mean that they didn't do it. It doesn't mean that it's like mistaken identity or they didn't do it. It just means that it's basically a form of legal forgiveness for federal crimes only, right? Which is why back in the day, the Southern District in New York case against Trump was really important, because that would have been a state crime in the state of New York and it wouldn't have been able to been pardoned. He wouldn't have been able to pardon himself or anything like that. Anyway, we're digressing there. But it's kind of interesting, the idea. I'd love to hear, Chris Morris, on what you would do to satirize Trump in this current era when nothing seems to stick at all.
No, I mean, you look at when he came in, I was like, well, you know what? It's going to be the end of the world probably, but at least the podcast is going to be good. And there is from... Is it Midas or Midas Touch? Midas Touch, I think it's called.
Touch,
is his name like Midas? Is there like a...
It's an MEIDAS.
Yeah.
I've always pronounced it the Midas Touch, but I've never heard it read out loud, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Bulwark, there's Pots of American Art stuff. Like, I thought there are... It's every few hours a new video comes out. CNN do it as well, of new stuff that's happening, going to be happening, crimes that Donald Trump and his cronies are perpetrating. The Speaker of the House are basically not ratifying certain politicians to actually do their job because they want to avoid, take it day by day to avoid the whole Epstein stuff. There's a new thing every few hours, and there's new video and stuff, and it's and I watch all of them, and it's like, what am I doing? It's endless. It's endless. We all know what's happening, but it's endless and nobody seems to care. So why should I care? Why should I be watching this?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think what I'll just add to that is that...
sexier than our stuff, though, isn't it? It's just sexier
it's
sexier than an estate agent not doing their forms properly.
Yeah, it's much better done. But I think the biggest problem with it, Pete, I would add, is just that those people are talking to completely separate ecosystems. So my biggest complaint about about, say, Pod Save America is that they're only really talking to people who already agree with them. They're like, it's endless preaching to the choir over and over again. That those ecosystems kind of exist completely separately. It's only people like, Newsom and Pete Buttigieg and maybe one or two others who kind of cross the aisle and talk and take on the other media. So you see someone like Andrew Schultz or whatever, who's deeply problematic in his own way. But he will have like Mamdani on. He'll have Pete Buttigieg on. He'll have people on. And those guys who are up for it will go over there and they might kind of convert a few people. But it's very difficult to ever see Miles Touch or Pod Save America. I might be wrong, but I don't remember them ever having a seriously problematic Republican figure on there and taking them to task, chiefly because probably the Republican guys think there's nothing in that for me. I'm not going to win, so why the fuck would I do it? And the whole thing exists in totally separate ecosystems as far as I can see.
Yeah, I mean, Pod Save occasionally do it, but yeah, you're right.
But who do they do though? Because I've seen they've had Bill Maher on there.
They've done a couple, and they're roundly criticised for it. Like they're absolutely roasted for it. And it's like, well,
sure,
that's why that toxic liberalism is never going to fucking get anywhere. That's why the Democratic brand in America is fucked, because they're just there is a perception that they're obsessed with identity politics. They're obsessed with certain things that most people who just can't feed their fucking family aren't bothered about. Let's make it very clear. They're more bothered about it than the Republicans ever will be. But the brand,
you always get that impression in this country as well.
The Democratic brand is just fucked in America, and it's going to take a big personality. It's going to take a Barack Obama to drag them out of it, probably.
Yeah,
or an independent.
I think. I always think that whenever I see Owen Jones in this country, I think he genuinely hates Keir Starmer more than he hates Nigel Farage.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think the reason I think that is because I think he feels truly betrayed by people like Starmer and people like Blair, whereas he just sees Farage as a Commonwealth Garden kind of enemy.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. The way that his sort of big ticket stuff, he's on a high at nothing anyway, but most Labour leaders are. But he just didn't have I thought he had more political nous, and he's in now, and he's just stepping on every reg.
Oh yeah, I think he's been absolutely terrible. But I think if you look at, the Aaron Jones point is, if you look at his columns, he spends all his time talking about how great Corbyn and Sultana are. And
fringe concerns. Never going to lead the country. Never going to be a big deal. It's never going to be important. Just maybe find someone else. Find someone who can, rather than
But I think it's all about. To me, it feels like an academic exercise. It just feels like who can be the purist, right? Who can be the most pure? It's the same old shit with the left. It's always been the same. People branch off. There's factions. It's the old Monty Python, People's Front of Judea, the Judean People's Front, all that kind of stuff. That's why that stuff is so pertinent still now, because that's really what the left are like. And the right are fucking ruthless. And the right set the rules of the game. And then the left complain when they play the game all the time and lose. Yeah. It's like, well, you're playing the game that's been set by someone else. The rules are being set by someone else.
You knew the Sun newspaper existed. You knew the Daily Mail newspaper existed. You know Facebook exists. Find another way.
We need a revolution, but no one will do a revolution because they're all frightened of the aristocratic class, or in this case, the technocratic class.
I'm busy with the bins. I've got bins to sort out, Luke.
You're doing your own little thing.
We're doing little bits and bobs.
Yeah. The closest I got to a revolution was stealing that woman's traffic cone outside my house.
Yes.
Which was a noble pursuit, I feel like.
You did, and I thought the beret was a bit much. That was a bit much, to be honestly. It was a bit strong. Yeah.
All right, Peter, before we proselytise forever, let's have a break, because when we come back, we've got a couple of good emails to do. And speaking of politics, our Danish politician friend's been in touch.
Oh, lovely. Smashing. We'll be back in a second. We're back with the Luke and Pete Show. We got loads of emails to get through, so let's bloody do one, for crying out loud. Shall I do the one from Soren Sloth, our Danish politician?
Yeah, it's kind of more pertinent to you, so it probably does make sense for you to do it.
Okie dokie. Hi, Luke and Pete. I've wanted to write to you for a while, but the partner I have access to and I recently had our first child. Round of applause for...
Congratulations.
The family sloth.
On your new edition.
I'm imagining it's sort of clinging to you like a real sloth. That's you hang upside down, chewing. Yes, having heard the potentially official Luke and Pete Show physical therapist get in touch about Pete's breathing, I had to join the line of people wanting to give Pete advice.
Yeah.
Pete, you are, of course, always in the right to discard unsolicited advice about your health, and especially from me, as I have no medical training whatsoever. I think, Soren, you have to know I'm more likely to listen to you. I do.
Pete gets all his medical advice off the internet.
Exactly. I do, however, have a master's degree as a classical bass trombone player.
Amazing.
How do you fit that? How do you fit politician and professional?
He was also our tallest listener for a while. He's very busy.
Yeah, very busy, which includes doing decades of breathing exercises. The dangerous thing about focusing on getting an intake of air that moves the diaphragm is that you can do similar muscle movements without helping your breathing along. And thus doing breathing exercises wrong can in fact worsen your condition.
Oh, what a plot twist.
What I've always been taught to focus on is feeling the airstream at the point of entry and exit. Really feel the air moving past your lips and nostrils. Anyway, hope your breathing is better and that you won't ever need to worry about the above. Take care, you both, from your politician contact in Denmark, where we are currently in the midst of an election. Former official tallest listener and newly minted dad. Busy. Soren. Sloth. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tack.
Thank you very much, Soren. I was just reading the Danish local elections are happening on the 18th of November, so...
Yeah, is Soren up for the cup? Is Soren up for
not that I can see.
Right, okay.
He might be. Let me just do a little quick word search on the page.
It must be very hard to kind of what do you call it? Like have a kid, think about bass tromboning.
Yeah.
and also,
which does sound like a euphemism, by the way.
Exactly. But what a trick to pull out at a conference. Hello, it's Soren Slop. Do the entire theme from what's the TV show? Johnny Briggs from the 1980s.
Yeah, that's a
British
trumpet,
TV show.
That's not a trombone, is it?
It slides. Of course, it's a trombone.
Is it?
You were questioning whether you can tune a trumpet last week. I'll not have this brass naivety on the Luke and Pete show, to be honest.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. I don't really know anything about brass instruments.
Any other kinds of brass? No. You can tune it by moving back and forth it's like a tiny trombone. You sort of elongate the pipes to make it deeper and tighter. I
just wondered
why you would do it.
Yeah, why you'd need to tune it, because clearly it's just air passing through something with different things being pushed down, right?
It's got to be temperature, hasn't it? Metal contracts, gets older, gets more brittle. I don't know. Like if you're playing a trumpet in a hot soca band on a hot day in soca Caribbean in the Caribbean, or playing some beautiful. You're playing in town square in Lillehammer. Playing as part of
the first place you thought of in Norway
as a part of some kind of
Soren's Danish.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking of somewhere really cold.
Right, okay.
And it wasn't that part of the world, and you were part
of.
So
when I worked at Polydor Records, there's a lady who sat quite near me who worked on the I can't remember what the imprint was called, but it was basically for soca music,
right?
And I believe it's a kind of offshoot of Calypso, so it would be Caribbean.
It was Desmond. I nearly said Desmond because that's how they would shout Desmond on the show. Desmond on the Channel 4 TV show. Don't scratch my soca till the party's over. I was like, just don't scratch your soca records.
No, don't scratch it. Full stop.
Never scratch Desmond's soca records, for crying out loud.
But anyway, nice to get a tip from Soren. What about this email from Sean in Whitley Bay, who is a fairly regular emailer to us?
Yes.
And he'd like to pick up on the council shooting you talked about in the early 90s, Pete.
Yes,
I didn't know about.
So it wasn't like it was a TV crew, and one of them got shot in the hand. I remember my man was obsessed with the story for some reason. She got shot in the hand.
I'm pretty sure this didn't make it down south. I'm going to read it to you now though, because Sean's got the skinny. He says just a quick one about the shooting on TV that Pete briefly mentioned on a recent ep. it was much more serious than Pete made it out to be. Because I thought you were talking about that Tony Martin story, didn't I?
Yeah, because he didn't shoot any journalists, but I remember a man got shot in the hand, and I remember he had his hand up in the air going, "Ow!"
Oh right. So yeah, apparently in 1991, a TV crew in County Durham was sent to the property of an Albert Dryden, a local landowner, to cover his dispute with Derwentside Council over a dwelling built on his property without the relevant permissions. While Pete mentioned a TV reporter being injured, sadly, Harry Collinson from the council planning office was shot dead.
Bloody hell.
Albert claimed to have booby-trapped the property with explosives and planted landmines in the grounds. The film of the incident is available on YouTube. The incident also inspired a song called Albert's Got a Gun by punk band The Angelic Upstarts.
Right, okay. Wow.
Which sounds like they're right up your street, Peter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know them?
Yeah. I think they may have played the Leicester Charlotte a few times.
Right.
Yeah.
Terrible story anyway, but Sean finishes by saying, on a lighter note, I believe Adam Rickett, the aforementioned, is now co-owner of an independent craft beer, wine and spirit shop in Knutsford.
Right, okay.
So I work in the brewing industry, but I've never encountered him. I've heard he's a nice bloke, though.
I think he's nice. Yeah, I've met him a few times. Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay. Sean also
in my
finishes by
agency.
saying, this is the first time I've been able to contribute to the show in my role of the show's beer expert. I asked if I could pop on my CV when I was made redundant back in the pandemic. I mean, you can put whatever you want on your CV, Sean. It's your CV.
Yeah.
We'll always give you a reference. Write whatever you want.
Yeah.
But having said that, we don't really reply to any email, so you might not get anything back.
No, it's a good point, actually. I mean, so he's not only a beer expert, he's also, planning row killer. I'm having real problems with the words bow and bore, simply because I'm still a radio DJ in my head, and the David Bowie debate, not really a debate, there is a definite way of saying it.
What is the way?
It's Bowie. It's Bowie.
Yeah.
And
that's what I've always said.
Whenever I see the word row or raw, I get confused and say it the wrong way. I'm losing my marbles, I really am. But yeah, you're not only you're also a planning row killer expert as well. Fascinating. So he was still building the bungalow on the day that he started shooting. Like he's building.
Get out of the way. Let a man get on with his work.
Let a man. Like he blasted the bloke as he fell in a ditch. He just shot him twice in a ditch. Like
it's terrible.
What a wild thing. He died. He died a year after release. Absolutely. Yeah. But he did the shooting in front of a TV camera.
He got sent to jail for life.
Yeah. He should do.
Yeah, and rightly so, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, he was released from prison in 2017.
Right.
And he died in 2018. And the case, he said the independent counsellor said the case was tragic, especially as Dryden and Mr. Collinson also knew each other well. It's very sad.
Apparently served 26 years, Peter, for that, and then
yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's a crazy story. I have no memory of it whatsoever.
It was a big story in the Northeast, but I thought they just shot the bloke in the hand. I didn't realise he'd actually executed someone as well. What's men left to their own device? I've been listening to a podcast, basically like an agony aunt podcast, and it's the bloke who was in the podcast Come Town, if you remember that. They did a
Stavros.
So it's Stavy's. I don't know what I think the podcast is Stavy's World. Anyway, he basically does call-ins, and it's quite sexual stuff, and it's basically blokes not talking to anybody about their lives, and then talking to somebody about their lives, and this Stavy, who's a pretty good bloke, basically saying, "You're a fucking idiot. Stop this lunacy. You've thought about it too long," and it basically is just a set of men, and it's usually the men who do it, who are basically they've had an idea in their head, and they've thought about it too much, and they've not spoken to anyone about it who could disavow them of some particular notions, and they when they ask, like an agony uncle kind of guy, "Is this okay?" It sounds demented. So there are men who there's a couple of voicemails quite recently where they're going, yeah, I'm an EMT and I was taking a woman who was having like a psychotic episode, and she was pretty hot, and we sort of hit it off and we started chatting on Snapchat, and it's like Stavros like, "Sorry, She was having sex. She was on a fucking drug binge. She was having an episode, and you decided that was a good idea to try and have sex with her. And you had sex with her, and now she's being weird, and you're worried it's going to affect your career. All these scum men just doing scummy things. Going, I'm doing this thing, but me and my partner have got a. Me and my partner have got a rule where we've got a hall pass, basically. If we're away for too long, we can have sex with people we want to have sex with and stuff. And like, I think that, and my partner's going away. Shall I have sex with my co-worker?
But that's just looking for permission, though.
It's looking for permission, but it's just like, and they never get it. It's always just Stavros and his guest going, what is fucking wrong? Are you listening to yourself? It's just these men who just haven't spoken to anyone about it. They've had an idea in their head, which usually means them talking to their own penis and going, I think this is actually quite normal. I can rationalise anything if I think about it long enough. And then you ask a question and go, is this all right? And they go, of course it's not all right.
Yeah.
At best, it's sexual assault. At worst, it's like, all this stuff. And it's just like, these men are just demented. Yeah. Absolutely mad. So men left to their own devices become mad. We need other people. We just need other people.
Is this why you're saying Albert Dryden shot the council planet?
Yes, because he'd become too obsessed about his little cottage he was building.
Yeah,
and how
he's lost all perspective.
He's lost all perspective, and he thinks that's the most. And now he's shooting people on live television. It's
definitely the case that definitely the case that in general, if you've got something on your mind, even if it's just something like semi-serious, like a work thing or whatever. If you think about it too long, it does grow legs.
Yeah,
it becomes massive. And then when it actually gets to a kind of conclusion or is resolved in some way, the resolution is normally about 5%, worth about 5% of the mental energy taken up on it. That's just a truism, I think. And I think also with men generally, agony uncles aren't really a thing, are they?
No, but we need them more. We need them.
But there's a reason why. Like I think it's much more of a feminine disposition to do that kind of content
because women will go, I've got a problem, might need some advice, and they'll take advice. But we are men who don't want to be who think that they know everything. They won't take directions, for example, in life, and our brains become atrophied.
Do you know what, on the directions thing, quite recently a couple of times, and it's been commented on by the Wi-Fi I have access to, and rightly so, a couple of times I have taken, looking back on it, the inexplicable decision to decide in a kind of huff that I know better than the sat-nav, and got us in, like, basically involving us spending probably an extra half an hour each time in the car.
Right, okay, yeah, right.
Because I'm like, there's no way I'm going that way. That's mad. Right? all the world's GPS information available to Google Maps in real time. Nah. But that's going to take twice as long. I'm not going that way.
All it takes, I'm on your side here, but frankly,
the best one ever, Pete,
is one like dodgy direction from Waze, and then you never trust it again.
No, you don't trust it, exactly. Yeah. And the best one ever is my granddad, right? Who's still with us. He's not driving anymore. He's old, obviously very old now. But he used to be so bad for it. And I remember once, he's also got a little bit of old-fashioned sexism in there as well, right? And I remember being in the car with him and my mum. And he was driving us to a garden centre that had like an outdoor adventure thing.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the New Forest, like in Hampshire. And I wasn't old enough to be a man. And the reason I know that he's got this kind of old-fashioned sexism about him, like lovely, lovely man, like the nicest guy, but like obviously...
Some things are hard-coded.
Just product of his environment. Since I reached that adulthood, he definitely would listen to me. And a lot of the time, even now, my mum and my sister are like, look, you need to go and speak to him because he'll listen to you, kind of thing. So when it came to giving up his car, I had to tell him. Yeah, and when it came to getting a carer in his home, I had to tell him. So it's that kind of thing. Anyway, go back to the kind of the mid-90s, probably about 1992, 93. We're in the car. And my granddad's taking me, my sister, and my mum's there to this garden centre kind of come adventure playground type thing. And he's got a map. My mum's got a map, and he's basically completely ignoring the map, right?
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay.
So my mum says, right, and you want to come off at the next exit, and the combination of not wanting to listen to my mum because she's his daughter and a woman, and thinking he knows better, he's like, no, it can't be that one. It's definitely not that one. It's the next one, right? And she's like, well, it is this one. He's like, no, it's not.
I'm looking at it.
This is the exit, right? We have to go round again. It takes ages. Anyway, to cut a long story short, we end up where we should have been in the first place, but if you had just listened to my mum taking the exit. And we get into the car park, and no fucking word of a lie, right? I remember this like fucking clearly. When he parks up in the car, my mum says like a kind of quite sardonic, kind of sarcastic, like, oh, you know, we got there in the end kind of thing. And he literally, 100% serious, looks at all of us and goes, yeah, they must have moved it.
Right.
They must have moved the entire organisation.
That's a big shout. That's a big shout.
Yeah, rather than him admit that actually he just misremembered it.
See, look, but I think where progress has been made is that as soon as you take that turn, and nowadays, I know I've gone wrong. I know I've done it wrong. And that rising anger of someone's going to point it out, someone's going to notice that I've done something wrong here. And I'm allergic to admitting it. and the gift is that you've done something wrong. You've wasted everyone's time, and it's all your fault. And that's
I also don't think, as men go, you might disagree with this. Bless you. I think that I'm not actually that stubborn. I think I'm all right at like flipping on stuff and getting told I'm right. I'm that bad at it. The wife I've got actually is really stubborn, but that's a different thing. She's not here to defend herself, so we'll leave that there. But when it comes to the car, it does make me super stressed and super angry. There's two things that make me super angry, like as in really angry. One is like seeing the sat nav time of arrival just ticking up and up and up. To the point where I'm like, why are you even giving me an estimated time when it's so fucking inaccurate?
That's London though, isn't it? Things happen all the time. Roads get closed.
I'd rather they just didn't put it on there.
Right. We'll get there when we get there, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. It's usually I'm always surprised on how
the other thing is just
is.
Being woken up before 6 a.m.
Well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But it's good. It hasn't affected your mood. You're always in a good mood. So that's all right. What was I going to say? Let's get out of here. Just the Luke and Pete.
Yeah,
show.
Let's do it. We've run out of time anyway. We've
run out of time for crying out. You go. I've got things to do. Let's all have a lie down. Should we just have a little snooze? Have a little siesta? Yes, get in touch with the show, hello@lukeandpeteshow.com. If you've got a battery, chuck it our way. If not, well, maybe the battery feature will go all the way.
Can't feed the battery robot without any batteries.
No, we can't.
So farewell from the battery robot. Maybe we'll see you next time.
Nice to hear from the battery robot on a Monday, by the way. What a treat.
Well, he's a battery. He can be turned on whenever you fancy it, really. Maybe he could be...
That's why you like him.
That's why I like him. All right, we'll be back, darling.
See you later.
We'll see you on Monday. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye. Bye.